All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another success story. Boy, do we have quite the story today. We have Brian in front of us. He goes by Beam in the Discord. You guys might have seen him around. For those of you who are in the chat room, Brian has been with us for about over a year now, and he's one of the students who did it the right way. Process over profit, small size, and has turned the corner. And not only has he turned the corner, he has turned the corner in style. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian, how you doing today, man?
Doing great, RT. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's such a pleasure to have you on the stream. I mean, there's a lot of people who are in the community. There's a lot of people who are out there striving to be traders, and it's just so good to see individuals just like yourself succeed. So, it's another story. I'm not another success story. I'm not sure if you've seen all the other ones, but I'm just gonna ask you a couple of questions. We'll have a good conversation. We'll flow, and we're gonna take it from here. So, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Who is Brian? You might want to share with us your state. How long have you been trading? Give us a little bit of general information.
Yeah, so I'm Brian. I live in Maryland right now, and I started trading, I want to say February of 2021. Um, and I've traded everything. Started with small caps, went to futures, went to options, and then landed myself back at small caps early of 2023. And that's when I actually turned the corner. But yeah, I went to college for finance and was a financial advisor for maybe like 8 years or so. And so I've been around the stock market for a long time and always enjoyed it. But when I came across day trading, it just seemed like the best of both worlds where I could make as much as humanly possible. Um, and the limit was just based on myself. And so I took a leap of faith. I got out of financial advising because you can't day trade if you're with FINRA. And so
Yeah.
got like a part-time job or a contracting job, work from home uh,
Okay.
early 2021. And that's kind of the start of my trajectory to where I am today.
Nice. So, and you mentioned a little just now about dabbling around in like futures and some other like large caps. How did that go? How was that experience like?
Yeah, so I was never able to get to 25,000 PDT until this last ramp up early of last year, which was 2023. So with options and futures, you didn't have to have a big account. And so for me, instead of trying to spend a year or two to save for PDT,
Yeah.
um, I wanted to make $100,000 or $20,000 as quick as possible. And
Okay.
so I it's kind of funny the way we think too, because I've always read online that futures, especially futures, are the hardest thing to master.
Yeah.
And the normal person would say, okay, let me go to figure out and trade what's easiest. But in my messed up brain at the time, I was thinking to myself, okay, if I can trade futures, then I can trade anything. Like I want to trade the hardest one. And you'll see on my trader view here whenever we show it. But
Yeah.
I lost money from June of 2021 all the way till April of 2023, 24 straight months. I think I had maybe one or two green months in that span. Um, but uh, yeah, just basically losing like $1,000 each month for 24 months straight
Okay.
before I turned the corner.
So, how did you find out about MMU? How did that go? Because some people they tell us they might have seen some big blow up video, team house content or something. How did you find MMU?
So I actually, I was, so when I finally got done with futures, because I had hopped around so much, that futures was the one thing that I decided to stick with and not hop around again. And so I was on futures for maybe like 16 months or something like that, over a year for sure.
Okay.
In January of 2023, somehow Marcelo or Mighty Stock's video popped up, and it was one of his like 2022 videos where he was just going over his monthly recap,
Yeah.
and I was watching it, and the craziest thing was like he's going over his wins and losses on TraderView, and his average loser was like $9, and here he is with $15,000 on the month, and I was like, how can you risk $10 a trade and make 15 grand? And so I just deep dived into his videos, and then and then the funny thing, like looking back, I was like, who is this RT guy he's always talking about in his videos? And so I looked you up, and I was like, oh, and so then I started deep diving into your stuff, and I was like, okay, these guys have a very similar trading style.
Yeah.
At that point, uh, I joined the Discord, and this was even before MMU was released, because I think it was released last summer. But yeah, just started following you guys, and then the community. It's just amazing to see and be a part of. And yeah, dude, I saw
That's what's
Mighty,
up,
and you
man.
always talk about start with one share for everything, and
Yeah.
so um, I can get to that story in a little bit too. But yeah, that's how I found you guys. It's a
That's what's up,
YouTube
man. Cause
algorithm.
yeah, a lot of people, a lot of people sometimes they might have came across another community, the team house content or something. So that's pretty interesting, man. And you know, Tim, Marcelo, myself, we're always pushing on YouTube, and so it's great to see that the YouTube algorithm, like you said, is doing its thing. So coming into the next question, right? So we heard a little bit about your story before joining MMU and how you found it. So
Yeah.
before we transition into your metrics and your stats and how you're doing now, how has your trading experience been after joining the community, the chat room, and the classes?
Yeah. So getting to join MMU once you guys released it, and going through some of the classes and getting live examples that you guys show, and also deep diving into the archives. Um, I've able to just watch different tendencies that each person had, whether it was you or Tim or Mighty, and just pick on things that I related to and I found easier to read. Um,
Yeah.
and just grinding, man. Like last year, like it might seem like this year, once I got it, I picked it up. But even last year, it was just 4 hours of studying every single night after trading all day, and not making really any like feasible progress, but just
Yeah.
uh, seeing things get better and better, and having, a good day here, a good day there. And just starting with small size. I made an Excel sheet as far as sizing up, because I think that is just as hard as learning the strategy itself. And so I had a big, well thought out sizing up plan
Yeah.
um, that I created for myself, which made it easier to get to where
That's
I'm at today.
that's good, man. Because a lot of the times, even for myself, Marcelo, Tim, Triad, like people will show up to our channels now and see us today and think, man, these guys, they might have been good from birth. Like in the womb, they had a computer trading or something. But
Yeah,
a lot of people, they don't see the hard work and the time that it really takes to become successful. Like it's not an overnight thing, and you have to really grind. Like in the beginning, I remember 10 hours a day, 10 hours a day. And, I have a sibling who's around the trading space. I remember, a conversation we had just 2 days ago where I'm telling him, man, like even at this point, it's still such a grind. Like we love to trade and it's fun, but it takes work, studying, reviewing, and the consistency to keep going. So if you can do the honors for us here, Beam, and share your screen and walk us through a little bit about how your year has been going and the journey in itself. You can go from start to finish and show us
yeah,
everything you want to here, man.
yeah. While I'm pulling it up, I'll share one funny story, which I think a lot of traders can relate to and probably feel this way. But like I said, I was red, I think 22 out of 24 months from June of 2023, 2021, all the way to May of 2023. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my fiance, but we were living together, and she basically asked me point blank, this is back in April of 2023. She said, Brian, how long are you going to do this and lose money for? And
Oh
my
man.
honest answer to her was, I said, well, at this point, I love trading so much. Like, I still believe at some point I'll figure it out. But if I don't, I'll just view it as a hobby I spend, $500 to $1,000 a month on, because I just love trading that much. Like,
Yeah.
it was it was about the money and the freedom of not having a job, but the day-to-day aspect, like, it was the first thing in my entire life that I've had something to look forward to every single day that I woke up. So even if I never made money, I probably would still be, trading for the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah, and that's big, man, because as we know, the beginning is usually so difficult for most people. So it's like if you can have something that can help you from not getting burned out, and for you, as you said, it's not necessarily the money or the freedom yet, but the joy of showing up to try and figure out this puzzle, this complicated thing that is essentially working on yourself, right? Becoming more refined.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool to hear, man.
Yeah. So let me do this. Let me pull this out too.
Yeah, let's see those sweet gains.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are not in our chat room, recently we've been having some crazy momentum in the sub $1 space, and Beam has some sweet P and Ls here that we'll see here in a sec. Do
All
you have any
right.
Relentless Trader T-shirts? I should have asked you to wear
I
one.
do not. Do not.
Or Merciless Markets.
I need to get some.
All right, there's the stats. Walk us
All right. So
through.
you see my screen? So I wanted to do through December 23 because this year just doesn't seem like reality based on what's happened. But if we go year to year, and like I can go through some of my calendar of 2021,
Yeah.
but like for instance, May of 21 was when I was doing like options trades and stuff, and just going through the motions. Never really. This is when I switched to futures.
Yeah.
Just not really making any progress. And so if I go to year, month, day, and we go to performance by month, like just red, 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 2022, red, red. My first green month in a while, up 1,600, then down 5,500. So 21 and 22 were losses. And then at the bottom of my drawdown from when I first started was, I think, like 20 grand.
Okay.
But going into like 2023, uh, for full transparency, I followed Marcelo's advice of when he was doing one share for 3 months. I did it for 1.5, but just still getting the basics down, and then just slowly ramping up. So like June was my first full month of profitability, but still
Nice.
the P&L was around, $200, $300 a day.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of people
so
underestimate this small share size thing, man. But it
yes,
really is a beauty.
yeah, yes. And like, for example, going back to, let me go to 2023. Like, so like June of 2023, I've always hovered around like a 45 to 47% win rate, but
Yeah.
like average loser was $30. And then each week that I was growing my account, I would increase size a little bit by a little bit. Um, and so I'll clear this out. And so 2023, I made I think 33 grand at the end of the year. Um, but if I clear this out, it got really crazy. So 38 grand in 2023, and then so far this year I'm up 361 grand.
Absolutely sensational, man. It is so
It's
impressive to see this hard work paying off. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And so February obviously was crazy because of BMR. my
Yeah.
biggest green day ever at that point, which was, I think, 40,000. Yeah, so 40,000. Um, but
BMR.
we it's really it really is a testament to the fact of just never giving up, because even though I've made as much as I have this year, there's still a slew of red days. And at the bottom of my latest drawdown, September 16th,
Yeah.
I made a couple tweaks. And so going in from October, November, like it looks a lot cleaner. Um,
And let's also take a look at September to see how
yeah.
bad the drawdown was. Because
Yeah.
a lot of
So,
times, like the risk management system here is like, if we do go
mhm,
red, we're not blowing up our accounts, but we might suffer some red days, but we can recover in the next hot cycle.
exactly. So I went on vacation for this week. But yeah, it was just every single day. It started off with a couple red days at the end of August.
Yeah,
And when I saw this, I was like, okay, there's a couple red days coming together here, but I don't need to worry about it. And then going into September, they kept on coming. Um, and so I started to like overthink everything, and just I tried to like tweak my, core strategy a little bit, because of what I thought my core strategy wasn't working, which is the micro scalping strategy.
yeah.
I was trying to hold a little longer. I was trying to take less trades, and
Having a significant other, and not just living for yourself, but as an entrepreneur, because trading is a business,
yeah,
and business is risky, and so going through this drawdown, right? What
yeah.
sort of like demons or pressure or doubts did you face? Knowing that you're providing not only for yourself, but you also have another person that you're looking out for.
Yeah. Luckily, Jenna's very supportive, and she understands. And I think that it helps that I was in this situation earlier this year. Granted, after the huge February, so it didn't seem as bad.
Yeah,
28,000 drawdown in October, or in April, and then now, as of September 16th, I was at a almost $30,000 drawdown. Uh, I think just being fully transparent with her, and uh, just reminding her of how we've done so far this year, and how there's going to be ebbs and flows.
yeah.
And granted, we had just moved back in June, and then I quit my job back in June. So when this started happening, there was definitely a lot of pressure. Recently going full time, I was waiting for my first quote unquote drawdown when I
Yeah.
didn't have a job. Um, and it came quicker than I thought. But I honestly think, maybe not to this extent, but I think I have been in so many drawdowns the past 4 years
Yeah.
that I'm pretty resilient as a person. And so I think it really just comes down to, like, for instance, I had a red day yesterday, but of course, one red day is going to put this back in my head of, oh no, what if this is the start of the next one? But I think if you just come back to just find one thing that you can fix the next day based on your video review,
Yeah.
and not try to think of 5 or 7 things to change the next day, that it'll make it a lot easier. So
Okay. That's pretty good right there. So I guess that's some of your biggest takeaways from this drawdown is looking for something to improve for the next day. And I'll say this to the audience that in our community, we make sure to record our screen, and we do recommend it for everyone to do. That way you can always go back and study up, right, and review. So
yeah,
way to go, man. Way to bounce back. And I'll also say here as your mentor, and I think Marcelo, Tim, and all the other guys in the team house would say the same, that if you are to have a red day or a red week, even a red month, like don't even dare think for a second that that's the start of anything, and you
Right.
can also implement systems like like trader rehab, which is a pretty popular thing that you'll hear around the trading space, which is typically, if you have two or more red days, or 3 to 4 red days in a row, at that point you start looking to size down a little bit and really deep diving into those 4 days to see what adjustments you can make. That way, if you do happen to be red day 5 or 6, the loss is so small that it's so insignificant. And again, once that hot cycle comes around, you're good to go, and it's right back to business.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think it's also just, it's, I think TraderView, not a sponsor, obviously, but I've been using TraderView since I started my trading journey just
Yeah,
so I could track my progress. And I, middle of last year, I got the gold version. And I will say that I think the gold version is definitely worth it because of some of their advanced filters to where you can dig into the data. Um, and what I had found is with, you see these months and they're spread out with green and red days and so on and so forth. But one thing that I realized was uh, a certain subset of stocks,
yeah,
aka the $2 to $5 ones that have a 1 cent spread, um, based on just putting in my, you know, for instance, volume traded minimum of what I use now for the 1 cent trades would be like 5,000 shares. Whereas if it was a more spready $2 stock, I might only use 2 or 3,000 shares. So
yeah,
I can put in a minimum of 10,000 volume traded in here, so on and so forth. I can fix the price, and I can actually see, for example, like this is full transparency, up 361,000 on the year. But if I go to 1 cent spread stocks um, that I've taken at least 10,000 shares on, or 5,000 shares, this is in and out.
yeah.
You can see there's a huge red flag in my trading, right? But this is hard to figure out if you're just looking at your P&L as a whole.
Right. I,
So there's
I really
there's
like that.
opportunities.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point right there. And so, what do you think it is about these stocks above maybe $5 with the 1 cent spread that you're having trouble with?
So I think these stocks highlight the flaws that I have in trading, which is being a little bit hesitant at times, waiting for the bottom to show itself and ride the pop instead of just anticipating the
Yeah,
drop. And I think that also comes from a fear of loss of, you know, even though you can show me these stats and say, hey, Brian, you have a negative, you're a losing trader on what you're thinking. If I'm in the moment and in the trade, I feel more comfortable waiting for that bounce to happen or like the bottom to stall
yeah,
and then lose on the pop that doesn't go rather than buy that drop as it's dropping. Which is again human psychology. It's you buy where everyone else is fearful and you sell where everyone else is greedy. So
right.
uh, it's hard to implement in real time, though. I will say that.
Yeah, and I do like, I always like when we can identify a problem as traders. I think it's
Yep.
when we can't figure out what's going wrong is when
Yeah.
we really have a problem. So this
Yeah.
right here is definitely something for you to work on, and it's the beautiful thing of trading, because as well as you've done this year, it
Right.
shows how much better you will be over the next few weeks, months, and years as you continue to be more refined. So hey, the
Exactly.
future is as bright as it is going to be, even brighter.
Exactly.
So it's been a good look here into the stats. So to transition into a couple more questions, right?
Yeah.
Are you involved in any investments in or outside the market? And you don't have to be super specific here. You can be a little general, to keep your information private.
No, I'm really not. So I have a Roth IRA that I'm planning on trading in December. Um, we'll buy a house in the next few years, but as far as like long-term investments, I'm being a financial advisor for as long as I have been,
Yeah.
and then getting into day trading, I I personally believe, not financial advice, but I personally believe based on all the metrics I've seen, it's really hard to consistently beat the market over a long period of time. And so my plan uh, right now is just to put every extra piece of money I have into SPY, um, and let it ride. But one thing I did, am dabbling with and considering in the next few years is I still feel like I'm a year or two away from getting to a point where I want to be as far as my expertise on small cap micro scalping.
Yeah.
I still feel like I have a long way to go, but I really want to start uh, tweaking a little bit with more swing trades and things like that. Because with a large sum of capital, that's swing trading can be a place where you can grow that money uh, in that way. But I tried to dabble with swing trading earlier this year, and I think that's another part of my drawdown was back in mid-August. I was thinking, maybe I'll look at some of the top 5 large cap stocks that are moving and get some long-term positions in those, hold for a week or two.
Yeah.
And it really distracted me and affected my day trading mindset of because I was just thinking about too much. And
Yeah.
again, it's what I come back to of my red day yesterday. I was just telling myself like, don't overcomplicate it. And so I think that is really hard if you're trying to, and even for a beginner trader, if you're trying to trade futures, but you might also trade small caps, or you're in the Discord and you're trading small caps, but you also want to dabble with large caps just to see if that's a thing you can make money on.
Yeah.
I think that's a recipe for disaster because it's really hard to focus on multiple different kinds of price action. And I think it's best just to pick one, stick with it for a few months. If you like it, keep going at it. If you don't like it, just focus on one thing a day.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. Trading is is one of the hardest things that we've ever had to do. So, focusing on one type of price action, one subsection within the market, we can definitely give ourselves more of a chance. So,
Yeah.
Beam, we spoke a little bit about how well you've been doing this year. We spoke a little bit about your investments that you're looking into making and the ones you've made so far. Tell us a little bit about how you've spent your gains. And I know you're a responsible individual, but has there been any sort of treat that you've done for yourself, your significant other? Talk to us, man.
Yeah, so we did take a pretty nice vacation in Cancun a couple
Oh,
times now,
nice.
which has been amazing. And I recently upgraded my computer just to, it's not necessary, but when you get to the highest level, you think of the NFL, they're spending money to get 0.0001% better than the next person because they're at such a high level to where it makes a difference. So I feel like once you become profitable and you're just trying to eke out every extra small percent of edge you can, a fast computer has definitely helped me with. I used to have a little bit of lag at the open, and so getting the best and biggest computer the past couple weeks has completely fixed that.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, also I'm getting into golf, and that's been really fun. I'm in the middle of getting lessons, so I'm living the dream that I thought I probably would never have 2 years ago. And again, that's my why is just I've been in so many jobs, worked for so many people. I wanted to just make 70K a year on my own and not have to worry about an annual review or waking up for a 8:30 a.m. meeting. So this has been amazing, and the extra money that I've been able to make is just the cherry on top, to be honest.
Man, way to go, man. Way to go. And it's so funny because my next question on here is a golfing related question. You kind of mentioned
Yeah,
it there. So I was going to ask you if there were any correlations between golf and trading because some other
yeah.
individuals, it might be video games, it might have been something else that they've done on the outside, some sort of activity where they can draw a lot of similarities and things like that. So how is it with golf?
Yes. So If you are watching this and you're a fan of golf, you know that the golf swing is one of the most complex, hardest things to do. Um, and in the middle of my golf lessons right now, there's probably 30 different things that your body needs to do a specific
Oh wow.
way to get a good golf swing. But I'm a month into my lessons right now, and we've worked on two 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 major things. And I still haven't really mastered those, and still trying to get used to it, but it takes time. And I think the correlation is just so on point with trading to where, trading can have, let's just say, 100 to 500 different aspects in every second of every trade. But if you try to focus on learning all 100 or 500 of those aspects, where is VWAP at? Is this support? What's the level two doing? What's the tape doing? What's the daily chart look like? Blah, 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 blah. If you try to learn all those things and say, okay, I'm going to try to think of all 500 of those things tomorrow, and then suddenly something's going to change, it's never going to happen. You can't get
Yeah.
a professional golf swing overnight, just like you can't become a professional trader overnight. You just need to focus on, literally, I had it on the sticky note on my computer, um, for all of last year, was just get 1% better each day. And that means just focus on one thing, whether it's sizing, or with the actual aspects of trading. Just find one thing that you wish you could do different tomorrow. Change that one thing. Once that one thing becomes normal for you, then focus on the next thing. Don't try to,
Yeah.
oh, RT's taking this trade and he's buying this flush where normally I'd buy the pop, or, you know, don't try to change your trading because someone else is making money doing something. Like RT, Marcelo, Tim, Crispy, Xavi, Triad, everybody, including myself, is not one for one the same trading style. Every single mentor has a different trading style,
Yeah.
but yet everyone is successful. And so find what you resonate with, which mentor maybe has a trading style that is most similar to your comfort level. Watch their archives, watch their recap videos, and again, just change one thing a day. And then over, the course of 300 days or 600 days, things will start to make more sense.
Well said, man. Well said. You're starting to sound like a pastor yourself. Maybe I'm
I
rubbing
know.
off
I
on
know. I've
you.
been watching you enough. You've given me some inspiration here.
Well said. So, earlier you mentioned that you're still maybe about 2 years out from being that more complete, refined version of yourself. My next question: where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Can you envision your trading journey that far ahead into the future?
Gosh, RT, if you had asked me where I see myself in 5 years 1 year ago, I'd probably say hopefully I'm done with my job by then. But
Yeah.
uh, next 5 years, I mean, I'll start this answer with a huge plug for the Discord, because without the community, without the Discord, without RT live streaming every day, the community doesn't exist. And the community, I've got to say, is the number one motivating factor in me realizing what was achievable. Um, because
Yeah.
without the community, I'd probably still be trading 100 shares, 200 shares, and being like, wow, there's no way I can make $1,000 in a day or $2,000 in a day. But when I joined the Discord and saw some members on there posting 10K days, 15K days, when I made 200, I was thinking to myself, like, I thought there was a limit to the scalability of this thing, but it's our mind is our main limitation. And so I think in the next 5 years, hopefully, I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but I hope to have uh, maybe $1 million a year by then. I don't know, but yeah, just being a master at my trading, and then just getting better, because I still really enjoy reviewing every day, getting up, opening the Discord, at 8 a.m. even though I don't start trading till 9:30. Just just seeing the community grow, I think, is
Yeah.
what I'm most excited about.
All right, that sounds pretty good, man. And I definitely think you can hit $1 million a year. I mean, you're an absolute monster. You're a beast of a trader, and in fact, I think it's imminent. It's only a matter of time. So,
Yes, sir. For both of us, man. It's
oh, definitely, man. And it's interesting because if I'm to look at the question myself, it's like 5 years is definitely a long time, but so much can happen in a short period of time. I remember going back to our first meetup, and over the time, I mean, I think you came to maybe meetup number four or so. You
Mhm.
know, things can change so quickly, and so much can happen over a short period of time. So I think the future definitely is going to remain bright for us. And by the way, going back to the last question I'd asked, I did get to see your swing. At least, I guess before the lessons, we did go to Top
Yeah.
Golf in down in there in Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
So, and
Yes.
you out of the team, you and I believe it was Will Spartan.
But
Um,
yeah.
you guys had the best swing, and not to get off topic here, I'm also looking forward to doing the interview with him because he was the
Yeah.
first MMU student ever, actually, and he has also
Yeah.
turned the corner recently. So, when we meet up again, man, we got to see which one of you two are the best golfer.
I'll put my lessons to the test.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, I got one last question really to go over here. So, you gave us a lot of info so far. I want to know if there's anything you could have done differently or maybe change. What may that have been like when it comes to just the speed at which you were able to become profitable?
Yeah. So I think if there's one thing I would change, it is hindsight sticking with small caps. I started with small caps for like in the sim anyway for 3 or 4 months. Um, Back in like July of 2021 when I failed at options trading.
Yeah,
But I never, I didn't want to just wait to save the 25K. I wanted to make it as quick as possible. And I think that looking back, especially now that the cash settlement day is only one, just whatever, all it takes is $2,000 in an account. And if you trade one share a day, you're not going to reach that $2,000 threshold.
yeah,
Um, and just save, 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 save. Because, I mean, this is the first time I'm thinking about it, but I told you I lost $1,000 a month for 24 months straight. That's $1,000 short of PDT. So why not just save that $1,000
yeah,
and look at where I would have started if I was practicing for 2 years straight? So I think saving and just having a cash account where you're trading 1 to 5 shares and treating it like real money, um, I think is by far the best area because you're not going to get the simulator fills. You're not going to get the magical sell on the ask, buy on the bid fills that the simulator can give you sometimes. So yeah, that's what I would say is different. And also, I think figure out what type of stock, because it might not be small caps and it might not be micro scalping, but figure out what your personality is like. I thought it was cliched when I heard it when I was a beginner, but I'm a very impatient person. I want to see results in the next 2 seconds. I'm not really one to sit back and wait and be okay with that. And
yeah.
so small caps obviously fit my personality perfectly.
Yeah, man. Well said. And you put into work, you put into time. It might be a year or two. For some people, it's actually a few months, but it's a little bit more rare. But you put in that time, that year or two, and then hopefully you can make it to the other side. You become consistent. You increase your size, and before you know it, your gains can become exponential. So, one last thing before we head out of here, is there any feedback you can give us here for MMU? Is there something that maybe you see that we can improve on, or we could do better? Is there anything that maybe comes to mind?
I think one thing that I wish MMU would do is have, even if it's once a week, like an actual scheduled time, say, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon of like a Q&A 1 hour class for Gen Chat. Just once a week. That way, you know, it's structured in a way to where everyone in the community can join it if they want to listen in. And there's an open floor. so people feel like it's okay to ask questions and don't feel intimidated to, talk when, in Gen 1 right now, sometimes we'll be hanging out and chatting and
Yeah.
we'll try to get other people to participate, but there could be an aspect of that of where they don't feel like they have anything important to say in their mind. But I think that's eye opening for a lot of people because I'm sure there's a lot of people who can learn a lot from someone standing up and asking a question. So I think a structured 1 hour session a week in the Gen Chat would be really, really cool.
That sounds pretty good, man. I like the idea. I like the idea. So maybe that's something I think we maybe implement here in the near future. Brian, it's been an honor. We're glad to have you a part of the community. As mentioned, we did hang out before in person at the team house in Florida. I'll be seeing you soon for something else, something big coming up.
Yeah,
It'll be a good time.
yeah. Can I say
Continue.
one more thing before we
Yeah,
stop this?
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
So I just want to say, full transparency. Obviously, I'm not on RT's payroll. I'm not a part of uh, the trading team or anything like that. I'm like actually a student who bought the course and got the opportunity to go to the team house. The price of the course, if it's a turnoff, I'm just thinking from a beginner's perspective, the amount of value that the course has as far as how it's structured, the archives available. You can watch Tim's archive from 2023 right now if you want to. Like every single person's archives are in there. It's the fastest way you're going to learn. I personally was able to pick it up in like 6 months just by all the hours that I spent watching archives and watching the classes and stuff like that. And so going, the price is hefty, but I feel like if you actually want to invest in yourself and just not have to get another course ever and be a part of one of the best communities that's out there as far as the transparency and everyone, I mean, you show it on your recaps. There are at least 20, 30 people every day making money. And it's more and more now that I'm seeing over the past few months. So
Yeah.
highly invest in yourself and don't make it hard on yourself. If there's an easier way to do it, take advantage of that. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to put that out there because I'm so grateful of what you've done, how you built this community, and I just want to share it with the masses.
Yeah, definitely, man. And two things to bridge off of your point, just in case anybody's wondering, a trading archive is the live recording of our trading with all of our instruments included. So you guys can go back and rewind the video, fast forward, see where we bought, where we sold, and why. That way you can gain a lot of information quickly. And then lastly, in the side of the course being expensive, if you guys look in my top left hand corner there's actually a coupon for Black Friday. 50% off for anybody who might be interested. Coupon code Black Friday. So hey, check it out. So coming back into the closing statements, once again, Brian, man, congratulations. I'm very glad to see that you're doing well, you're killing it. I think you're going to continue to improve. It's going to only be up from here. And, I can see a future where all of us are just doing things unimaginable. So keep striving for greatness, keep pushing forward, keep making everyone in your personal life proud because we as mentor are already beyond proud. So keep killing it, man, and I look forward to seeing you soon in the future.
Sounds good. Same here. Thanks so much for the interview.
Yeah, man. All right, guys, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll catch you later. You guys can check out Beam in the chat room, all right, in the Discord, our day trading chat room. Take care, stay safe, stay green.